Hello everyone, Reece from RJC Models here, and in this episode we'll be doing the mk2 RS 1800 by Italeri. So this is part 5 of that build now. As you can see, it's coming on very nicely. I've left one of the leads off there just for a bit of interest when the car's finished, and it's going onto a dyno with a Mark II Transit that I'm doing. You'll probably see on RJC Models on Facebook. I've done one side of the decals already, as you can see just there. It does look a bit green, but it's actually quite a nice white colour, so I apologise for that, guys. So yeah, it's coming together quite nicely. So in part 5 we work on the rear end and making the prop shaft and to the rear wheels, that sort of thing. Okay, so I'll move the camera down and we'll get on with it. Okay. Alright guys, here we go. So I'm going to crack on with part 5, so which is the rear suspension, prop shaft, drive shaft, and that to the rear wheels. So I think it looks very straightforward from what I can see of the instructions. Oops, there we go. So what we're going to do is just pop out the rear axles. There's the rear axle just there, a bit like that, and the cover for the rear axle a little bit like that, and we'll go off screen and clean that up. Also what we need is the rear leaf springs, if I can find those. Where are those? Those are on B. There we go. There's the leaf springs. So I'm going to pop off the leaf springs a little bit like that. So what I'll do is I'll build the leaf springs and everything together, make that all come together, and I shall clean up what we've got to do of the rear axles. Sorry guys for a bit quiet, a bit of brain dead just then. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll clean these parts up, come together, put them together, and then come back when they're all together. Okay guys, so that's the back end sort of put together. So that's your rear leaf springs just there on both sides, and your rear your rear drive shaft just in there. So the next bit to go through is, I'm just going to pop it off the sprues now, is the rear, so it's the prop shaft, the drive shaft, excuse me, the burps all of a sudden, sorry guys, the rear drive shaft, the centre drive shaft from the gearbox to the rear there, and I believe there's some sort of struts that hold the, it's like an anti-tramp, so when the car goes along it doesn't go blah, 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 when it gets all the power to that back wheel. And they are just there. So I'm just going to pop this on there. I'll do this live on camera for you guys. Okay, and also what does go onto this one is the anti sort of bottom out. So if a car was to bottom out, when it goes over a bump or something like that, because it is a rally car, you have this nice big sort of engine protector, as it were, just there, like that. Just so this goes over the front of the engine. So I'll quickly get a sanding stick, a bigger sanding stick, clean this up for you guys, and I'll pop that on there. So what this bit does, so it's just taking it off just nicely there. So this is like an engine guard from underneath the engine, from underneath the car, so that when the car does go over a bump or something that's a bit too hard for the vehicle, this actually sits there a little bit like that. So that will sit on there like that. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to center you guys. There we go. So that will go on there like that. I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue on the middle there. So I'm not really that bothered by the way the braces and that are painted, because they would have been that sort of black sort of colour anyway, from doing some research on the vehicle. I may just pop a bit of paint on these rear leaf springs just here and the rear axle, just to give it a bit of realism. But so the front end, it looks, well, this was a solid sheet of aluminium or a solid sheet of metal. So I'll go back later and just finish that off. So I'm just going to denub. Oh, this is quite tough plastic, this Italeri. You've done well. This is a very nice kit, actually. If you guys are looking for a very cheap car kit, this is the one. A lot of people have slated this kit just recently, but I find it actually quite a nice kit. It's a good starter kit. If you guys are looking at starting to build road vehicles or to build rally cars, this is the vehicle for you guys. I know they've just released the Lancia Stratos as well. Sorry, the Delta. Sorry. Again, it's another Reeboks. They're all, I think they're an old Esky kits, so they're all Reeboxes. Like I forgot, I'm not sure if I mentioned that in my review for this one, but this is so it's an old Esky kit. Very, very nice. The only problem that I've seemed to come across with this one is on the bonnet underneath. Oh, sorry, underneath is sort of bonnet strengtheners. Just here, let me show you guys. It'll be a bit easier that way. So it's bonnet strengtheners underneath the vehicle there. Let me just. Whoa, sorry guys. Hand of God. Bonnet strengtheners, and I had to just sort of fill the bonnet there to get it all nice and flat, and as you can see it there. Yes, I've cheated and gone ahead and put that decal on already. I keep going to call them stickers for some strange reason. I don't know what's going on with me just recently. Maybe I've fallen out of practice a little bit. But yeah, so it's a very, very nice kit. I'd certainly recommend this kit to anyone that wants to do it. So yeah, it's a very, very lovely kit. So as you can see here, I'm just coming in with the drive shaft, which pops into there. I think this is going to be another fiddly one, so I may have to stop recording for a second and get this one in. Just going to over glue it just so it doesn't dry, because we are very warm here in the UK at the moment. Again, I'm going to come back later on and just brush paint this in by hand. Very fiddly this is actually. Bear with me a second, guys. So that does go in there, and that does go on there. So how does that go on there then? So does it just sit on there? So this is the only trouble I've come across so far. This drive shaft. Oops. So if we just pop that in there. So it's fairly simple. It just pops into it. There's a little peg on the end of the drive shaft. It just sits into there, which I'll try and get to sit into there. So that will just sit in there like that. He says, I'm trying to get it in. There we go. Oh, popped out again. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm just going to shoot off and do this one off camera, because it is a wee bit tricky. And what I'll do as well is I'll put these, I'll show you where they go. So these are sort of like an anti-tramp bar. So when there's lots of power going into the rear wheel, you get what they call tramping. And what it is the wheel sort of bounces up and down. So say my finger's the road, it will sort of bounce up and down a bit like that. And you're not getting the full power down onto the road. So that anti-tramp bar just keeps that wheel down low to the ground. And what that does is it just sits in there like that. It will just sit there like that, and that will stop the rear drive shaft bouncing up and down when it's going phenomenal knots. So bear with me a second, guys. I'll just pop that drive shaft in, and then I'll back. Okay, guys. So that's the rear end all done and put together there. One thing I'm going to do on camera is the exciting bit now, and that is put the front and rear wheels on. So she's actually sitting on her chassis, on her wheels rather than on the bottom of the chassis there. Excuse me. So I've gone ahead and cut out these little these nuts, I guess you'd call them, for the rear wheels, and I've gone ahead and painted the wheels and put the tyres on there. So I believe the smaller ones, because there are two different sorts of wheels there, so the smaller ones I believe go on the front, a little bit like this, a little bit like that, but obviously I might have this one off, obviously due to being repaired. And the same with this one, that one will go on there like that. And there are some little nuts that just glue onto the end of this this stalk there. So I'll quickly just pop that off there now. Oops, a daisy. So that other side I'm going to leave off because obviously it's going to be up on a jack, getting that hose that pipe reattached. There we go. So I'm not actually too sure about the colour of this nut. So what I'll do is I'll glue it on, and then like the prop shaft and the rear end and that sort of stuff, I'll come back and glue it up later on. So I'll just pop that off of there like that. I don't know if you guys can see that very well. Pop that off of there. There we go. So I'll leave that nut in there so I can put it on the diorama. Come back with this. I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue just on that little. I need a pointy tool of point. So the little black end just there. I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue onto there. A little bit like that. There we go. And then just pop that nut on to the black bit. A little bit like that. There we go. So I'm just going to push that down nice and firmly so it seats on there. There we go. Right, sorry guys, and you may be able to hear the fan in the background as well, so I apologise for that because it is, so it's quite warm over here in England at the moment. So there we go. There's one wheel on. I'll put a back wheel on camera as well while we're here. I think the smaller wheels go on the rear, so it's these ones. So we've got a little, again another little nut that goes on there. I'm going to pop a little bit of glue in the hole just there, like that. Pop the wheel on over the top, line it up nice, and then just pop that on there a little bit, like that. Oh, it's all falling. Oh, it's all going wrong now. There we go. So there you go. There's the two wheels. What I'll do is I'll do the other side off camera because it's literally just a matter of doing that rear wheel on the other side because the other wheel's not actually going to get on there. So yeah, that's where we're at. Oops. Oh, it's all going wrong now, folks. There we go. Just the back end's come off there. So yeah, that's where we're at with that one. Thank you for watching part 5. Stay tuned for part 6, which will be attaching the body, doing the front grille, and what I'll do is I'll run across a little bit of decaling. Like I've put a few decal sheets on there already, just like that. There we go. So on there, and as you saw earlier on the bonnet. So I'll do that off in the next episode. Thank you guys for watching this episode, part 5 of the Escort build. Please stay tuned, say for part 6. Also, RJC models are running an accurate, sorry, not accurate armour, sorry, that's my head in a strange place. Are running an Allied Armour group build. So if you type in Allied Armour group build on Facebook, the the page for that one will come up. And any kit that is built by any vehicle that was built by the American or UK forces during the Second World War, so World War II. So anything you like, just as long as it's within that category. It will be judged by non-model makers, so it is very fair. There'll be a first, second, and a third prize. So keep your eyes peeled for that one, guys. And yeah, we'll see you in the next part. So thank you for watching this one, and pop over to pop over to Facebook, give us a like over there. If you liked this video today, subscribe, comment, like, share it out, pop a little, press the bell so that you know when the next part's coming up. And yeah, thank you for watching this one, guys, and have a good one. See you later. Bye bye.